Hi, and thank you for joining today's session. Just to introduce myself, I'm Claire McLean, the Partnership Manager for the Restart Scheme covering Derbyshire and the High Peak areas. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide you with a refresh of the Restart Scheme to give you a little bit of an update as to where we are now and share with you some detail on the new eligibility, our delivery and our approach to the partnership working in collaboration with local companies, providers and local authorities. So, just to give you a little bit of background and bring you up to date with where we are now, the scheme was launched back in July last year. We've already received well over 3,300 referrals and have supported over 650 people back into work. We believe the key to our success is the real joint approach through our full team skills, where we offer a real joined up approach through our advisors, trainers, wellbeing and recruitment team, where we're utilising lots of experience the team has brought from various business sectors they've all worked in. These range from welfare to work, sales, recruitment, customer service, hospitality, education and training, just to name a few. So this allows the team to really pull together all these skills and collaborate across the team. So just as a bit of an update on the other support too, we've also trained over 1,350 and rising in employability training and provided lots of one-to-one and group wellbeing support to over 200 participants since January alone when our new wellbeing team joined us. You may also remember from the original Restart awareness sessions that we provided an overview of the community partnership network. And it's great to be able to share with you that Maximus have onboarded over 50 partners to this network since the start of the scheme, offering our participants an even wider offering from provision both locally and nationally. So as you should already be aware, there has been a recent change in eligibility in January, which has presented the opportunity to enable much more referrals. So I'm going to go onto this on the next slide. So moving on to eligibility. To be eligible for the scheme, the claimant needs to be in receipt of universal credit or for at least 9 months, and now there's no upper limit. To optimise the customers eligible for the support for Restart, customers have spent 9 months now on universal credit and now JSA income-based support. And at the time of the referral in intensive work search regime will now be eligible. This means that customers can move directly to Restart without having to complete 9 months in work support first. There's now no limit on the discretionary referrals, where before discretionary referrals were capped at 10% of the volume and could be made for those that request to participate, were deemed eligible but have not yet been selected, or on JSA but have made a universal credit claim. So this limit has now been discretionary limit has now been scrapped as well. And then the last change is for the customers that are not gainfully self-employed or were interested in self-employment are also now eligible to join the Restart scheme. So moving on to this next slide, there's quite a lot of information on here, but this gives you kind of a brief overview of the core principles of our delivery. So the Restart scheme is very much a work-first approach, and this is made clear right from the outset when they join the scheme. So where each participant will attend one of our induction sessions delivered by our employment and skills training team, and this sets out the aims of the scheme, the expectations on both sides. So for what to expect from us and what we would expect from the participant once they've joined. And it also provides an overview and an introduction to all the team, so it gives them a little bit more information, so it's not as daunting for them when they join as to know what kind of the next steps are and what will happen whilst they're with us. So the employment advisor sits at the centre of the process, supported by lots of different areas and additional resource, all helping support the customer on their journey into work. So just to mention a few of these, we've got internal support, which I've already mentioned, ranging from our employment and skills training team. We've got wellbeing support, and we've got an on-site recruitment team. We also use external provision for the licensed and accredited training, or for other support or additional needs, such as support with learning disabilities, money management, homelessness, mental health, alcohol awareness. So that's where we would use external provision. When they join the scheme, they've got access to the Employment Support Hub, which is an online portal where they receive an online login as soon as they join, and they can access this at any time. So they can do it, during the day or in the evening. And this provides lots of many online resources, such as CV360, an interview simulator, links to job sites, health and wellbeing support, lots of different information on career paths and sectors, and lots of different additional wellbeing resources, kind of online little training modules, videos that they can watch, and articles that they can read. So the next slide will provide you with a brief overview of what happens before they join, during and after the referral, and the first steps. So prior to the actual referral, the customer will be confirmed eligible with yourselves and the suitable for the scheme by the work coach. And the work coach will discuss the provision with the customer, and then they'll be booked onto the three-way warm handover call, which is completed between the work coach, the customer, and our Maximus representative. On this call, they'll be advised of the date, the time, and the location, and will all be agreed for the initial meeting. And then immediately following the warm handover call, the work coach will do the PrAP referral and would issue the Restart Scheme information pack. So then moving on to the actual support, following this referral, this appointment will appear in the advisor's diary, and Reed will then get in touch with the customer and conduct a welcome call. They'll introduce themselves, they'll advise the customer on what to expect on the first meeting and ask if they're happy with everything, if they understand where they've got to come to the meeting, and give them information on directions, and ask if they've got any other questions or concerns or any other adjustments that we need to be aware of. This is then followed on by the initial face-to-face meeting with the customer and the employment advisor, and they'll be booked onto the group induction session, which I've already mentioned on the previous slide. So this is one of the first interventions that they'll receive and become part of a group. On the first meeting, we'll also conduct a diagnostic assessment. So this is done to identify individual requirements and get a real feel for where they are in terms of like the job readiness, if they've got any barriers, and really about how much support that we think that they will need. And that helps us to start forming a bit of a picture of the person and start to build that relationship. We'd ask if they've got any particular job goals, and from this we'll develop the personalised action plan, which will be agreed and really tailored to support that individual needs. From then onwards, they will receive at minimum fortnightly communication with ourselves and support. So this can be done either on the telephone or face-to-face, and then we will conduct at least 4 weekly a face-to-face appointment. And then throughout the time with us as well, we'll conduct 2 three-way meetings during the time on the scheme with the work coach, the customer, and Reed, which is something that we're trying to increase and really encourage us. It's kind of proven to be very beneficial to all parties. The action plan is reviewed at least every 4 weeks, a minimum, and we adjust it accordingly depending on the progress. So if we need to kind of review if there's things that they're not actually doing, then we'd work with them to support them and see why they're not able to achieve these. If they are doing really well, then we can start kind of setting more actions and obviously moving them further towards being job ready. The CV is one of the earliest things that we would look at and address it along with submissions to our employability and skills training workshops to give them that real kind of support in anything that they might need that we've picked up early on. So, for example, CVs, transferable skills, application forms, interview skills, digital skills. And then we would kind of judge whether we need to continue with that level of support or whether they're much kind of nearer to the job market, in which place they would start speaking with our recruitment manager. So moving on to the next slide, this gives you a little bit of an overview about how we support people on the health journey, because it became evident from quite early on that there's been a real great demand for this kind of intervention and support. So we had a wellbeing coach joined us, a welcoming coach and wellbeing manager joined us from January of this year. So the employment advisor will do a full diagnostic assessment at the beginning, as I've mentioned, where they'll ask the participant to grade their own health management on a scale of 1 to 9. And the ones that score at the higher end of the scale, this will then help to identify the route and the potential support that they may need to assist them in terms of getting them prepared and getting back into work. So if we pick up quite early on that there are some real kind of health issues or mental health issues, then we can start straight away kind of working with them to help to improve this. We've got lots of internal support ranging from our internal training modules, such as the self-confidence, resilience, self-awareness, anxiety, depression, stress, mental health. And this is an area that we've had some really great feedback from participants that have attended these and seen some really great results. We've also had EAs trained on mental health first aid. So with our wellbeing coaches, they're offering either one-to-one or group sessions. The kind of stuff that they're covering, as you can see on the slide, is things like understanding food, how to eat well, and as I've mentioned, stress awareness, sleeping well, getting into really good routines, mindfulness, managing anxiety and physical activity. We can, as I say, we can cover this either one-to-one or in a group session. They also offer one-to-one support on resilience, self-esteem, grief, and these are all covered in group sessions as well, if that is the preference. We do a 4-session mood management program where this gives them tips and techniques on how to help and manage the mood on a day-to-day basis, and we offer drop-in sessions also on mindfulness. So then, as well as the internal provision that we've got, we also would seek support from external provision if we feel that's necessary, utilising the providers that have joined the Community Partnership Network or other external organisations or charities where we can signpost them to. And then in extreme cases, or if it's something that we just pick up that we think that they've not been speaking to the doctor recently, we can kind of direct them back to go and speak with their own GP. So moving on to the next slide, this is around the Community Partnership Network that I've already referred to earlier on. So we feel this is really critical to the success of the delivery of the Restart scheme and our engagement approach. And it brings together a network of local partners and providers to provide support to the customers that are with us on the Restart scheme. So it helps to kind of align the provision and bring together organisations to all work in partnership. And with this would include things like training providers, skills providers, lots of support with other additional barriers such as learning difficulties, drug and alcohol services, debt, housing services, mental health service providers, and key local institutions such as the local authorities. It just kind of ensures that we avoid duplication. We're using the best possible resource that we can kind of tap into and ensure that there's effective local provision in each area. So we want to support them rather than kind of creating this is kind of pulled together so that we've got that information to hand. And we also encourage all local authorities to join the community partnership network as well. So moving on to the last slide. So just to wrap up, as you're aware, Reed already work on work and health, JETS and IPES. Restart obviously covers a large eligibility group from 9 months upwards, claiming universal credit and JSA income-based benefit, and are in the intensive work search regime. So just to kind of summarise, if you need to get in touch, if you need to find any information out, please get in touch with your employment advisors or the business managers at a local level if you're wanting to speak about a particular customer, or please feel free to contact me at any time. My details are below. So that's if there's anything to do with kind of general restart queries, issues, or if you'd like me to provide any support in your office, either kind of on a one-to-one basis or as a group. And then, yeah, you've got my details below. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time.